The government in Manila has agreed the final section of a peace deal with Muslim rebels who have been fighting a long-running insurgency in the south of the Philippines. Tens of thousands have been killed over the past 4 decades as the Moro Islamic Liberation Front fought a separatist fight. An accord has now been reached, setting out how the rebels will hand over their weapons in exchange for self-rule in parts of the southern Philippines. So to talk about this, Emma Leslie is from the charity Conciliation Resources. It's been providing mediation support to the Philippine government and the MILF, and she joins us from Kuala Lumpur, where the agreement was reached. Emma Leslie, since the 1990s, successive Filipino governments and the MILF have been trying to reach an accord. Is this one going to stay in place, even though it's still to be finalized completely?
Absolutely. I think that the commitment of the government of the Philippines and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, but also those that they've reached out to along the process, will definitely set this agreement in good stead. But we'll know agreements are one milestone in a process, and that it's the implementation stage that comes next which counts the most.
And Bangsamoro is what the MILF will call its semi-autonomous state in the south of the country, what it's wanted for so long. How can that possibly work? Because security is going to be the big issue for the Filipino government. How can it give away security of a part of its own country?
It's not giving away security. I think it's actually entering into a partnership with the MILF to work together. And the most important part of this annex, of course, has been about how they set up mechanisms that make that happen. One of the important ones being how will they do policing together, how they establish a police force. And of course, that transition is being led by the MILF, but together in a partnership which has been forged over these last 3 years, signed into the framework agreement last year, but certainly solidified yesterday in the signing of the Annex on Normalization.
So who exactly will police Bangsamoro? Will it be former MILF rebels who are giving up their weapons in return for a police uniform and formal training? By whom? How will that work exactly?
Of course, the police force will be representatives of the whole Bangsamoro community, and I think that's the beauty of what's being shaped here. Is it's not just for Muslim Moros, it's for all the people of the Bangsamoro, whether they be Christian settlers, whether they be Indigenous, men and women together. So I think that's the important element of what the police force will look like. Certainly there will be former MILF fighters. We hope also other former armed groups will be joining that, but through training and through a transition process that's carefully done together in conjunction with the Republic of the Philippines, then there will be a very vibrant and lively, I guess, Moro police force, but one which is grounded in partnership.
Emma, what do we know about people who aren't Muslims in that part of the country? Do we know how they feel about this semi-autonomous state being set up in the name of a religion which isn't theirs? Could they eventually be driven out, do you think?
Certainly not driven out. I know that the MILF is reaching out to people all over, but I think yesterday it was described, I think, in the Philippine Inquirer as a massive burst on social media of people from all walks of life welcoming this agreement. Most certainly there will be people who feel that it doesn't represent their interests, but I think over time and through the wide-ranging consultations that are happening on the ground, with support from organisations like Conciliation Resources and the UK government, those people can be brought on board. Of course, yesterday, I felt that one of the most beautiful moments was an elderly Muslim woman at the talks who burst into tears at the signing and said, you know, after 40 years, finally I have peace. So I think for the people there, it's not about religion, it's not about ethnicity in this moment. It's about a chance to build a better future.
OK, Emma Leslie from Conciliation Resources. Thank you very much indeed, Emma.